Just imagine you are Goku, getting stronger, meeting friends, and fighting bad guys for 100 days. On day 1, I appeared in the world of tabs. Whoa, I was really small. I wasn't an adult anymore. Now I was a kid, and I had my tail back too. Where was I? How did I get here? Suddenly I was attacked by these giant cow people. What were these things? There's no such thing as cow people. What was going on? I was clearly in a strange new world. I fought the giant cow people using my size and strength, and I quickly defeated them.
Oh, good job, boy. Well done.
I recognized that voice. It was Master Roshi. Somehow he had appeared in this world too. We were both very confused and had no idea how we got here, but clearly we needed to find a way to get home. Master Roshi and I teamed up and set off to try and find some answers. On day 2, Master Roshi and I found a small farm, and it seemed to belong to a very nice looking man and woman. We wanted to go over and say hello. Maybe they had some answers for us. But suddenly a band of pirates was blocking our path, and they did not look friendly at all. Master Roshi and I leapt into battle. I may have been small, but I was still very strong. And Master Roshi, while being very old, was still also very powerful. The pirates tried to throw bombs at us, but we deflected them with our skills. And with my staff and my amazing kicks, I was able to beat the pirates. Some of the pirates had barrels strapped to their bodies, though that didn't seem to help them too much. Master Roshi and I went to meet the farmers. They were very grateful and thanked us for defeating the pirates. We're not from this world. Do you know how we can get home? The farmer and his wife seemed nervous, and they told us they had no idea what we were talking about. When suddenly, the farmer very subtly pointed to a man hiding in the tree behind them. Master Roshi and I recognized that person. Hiding behind the tree was the EVIL RADITZ. But this made no sense. Raditz was supposed to be dead a long time ago. Then again, I wasn't supposed to be a kid, I was supposed to be an adult. Something strange was going on in this world of totally accurate battle simulator. Suddenly, the EVIL Raditz disappeared, and the farmer and his wife seemed to sigh with relief. The farmers invited us to stay for dinner, and we spent the day eating food and enjoying a warm meal. On day 3, we set off to search for more of our friends, and we saw 2 people fighting a giant man. It was Tien. He was going after the legs, and so was Chaozu. Master Roshi and I rushed to attack to help them, but they needed no help as they destroyed the samurai giant. It was good to see some of our friends again. Tien and Chaozu were a little surprised. I wasn't supposed to be a kid anymore, so we told them about the strange world we were in, how Raditz was still alive, and how I was stuck as a kid.
Come on, Goku. There's no way Raditz is alive.
And almost as if he could hear us, Raditz appeared in the farmer's field. He attacked us ruthlessly as Tien led the charge. But try as we might, we were no match for the EVIL Raditz. One by one, my friends were knocked unconscious, until it was only me versus Raditz.
Come now, Goku, what happened to you? You used to be so strong, now you're weak.
Raditz disappeared, leaving my friends and I together, very confused. We decided to search the world for even more of our friends, just in case the EVIL Raditz decided to attack us once more. On days 4 through 5, we continued to search the realm. For days, we couldn't find any of our friends. I was beginning to lose hope, when suddenly we came across a group of knights. They were surrounding a person dressed in orange. It was Yamcha! We raced into battle to save our friend, though Yamcha was making quick work of these knights. He was one of the strongest fighters I had ever seen. The rest of us quickly jumped into battle, sending the knights flying through the sky. And finally, we defeated the knights and saved Yamcha.
Goku, why are you a kid? Where's Gohan? And Bulma, what's going on here?
We told Yamcha all about the world of tabs, about my shrinking in size, about everything that was going on. And Yamcha told us that he had seen Mr. Popo earlier in the day. Maybe Mr. Popo knew what to do. With a new goal in mind, we set off to go and see Mr. Popo. On days 6 through 7, we traveled to the world of Mr. Popo. He was friends with the wise old Kami and was very intelligent, but Mr. Popo didn't know why we were here. I told him all about our adventure so far, including running into Raditz. Mr. Popo was just as shocked as we were. Raditz was supposed to be dead.
If you're going to defeat Raditz, we need to make you stronger, Goku. Go and find Mr. Piccolo in the Green Hills. He will train you.
What about the rest of my friends?
Oh, don't worry. I have special training for them.
I said goodbye to my friends and set off to go and find Mr. Piccolo. But the only problem is I was a little bit lost. All these trees and rocks were starting to look the same. Suddenly, I found myself face to face with people riding on raptors. I was completely shocked. Actual, real life raptors. The raptors attacked me and bit me with their powerful jaws. I was being trampled by the sheer amount of people, but I was able to use my power and fend them off. These tribes people were no match for me, and fighting them one-on-one was a lot of fun. In the end, I defeated each and every tribesperson, and quietly, up on a rock, stood Piccolo, watching.
Well done, Gohan. Well done.
I'm not Gohan, I'm Goku.
Well, that's awkward.
I explained to Piccolo everything we knew about the strange world we were in, and he listened intently as I told him about Raditz. Piccolo agreed to train me, saying it was going to be a lot of work, but I was ready. I had to defeat Raditz again, and together we set off to start my training. On days 8 through 15, we started my training in earnest. Mr. Piccolo was relentless, not giving me any rest. Sometimes Piccolo fought me himself, but mostly he watched as I defended myself for my life. I honestly think Mr. Piccolo enjoyed watching me suffer. All the weird creatures in the totally accurate battle simulator world never ceased to amaze me. Mr. Piccolo made me fight the strangest things. But every day I fought, I got stronger and stronger and stronger. Until finally, after 7 days of gruesome training, I was able to fight Piccolo one-on-one and hold my own. Piccolo was no longer simply destroying me, we were fighting as equals.
Your physical training is complete, Goku, but now we need to increase your spirit energy.
With our training complete, we set off to find Mr. Popo once more. On days 16 through 24, we returned to Mr. Popo's training ground. When we arrived, we found our friends fighting for training. Tien was fighting Master Roshi, and Yamcha was fighting Chaozu. Mr. Popo stood above them, watching, observing the training. Piccolo and I were very happy to see our friends again. Mr. Popo wanted to know how our training was going, and Piccolo didn't pull any punches when he explained it to him. Mr. Popo was quite pleased.
Before we continue on with your next level of training, I hear rumors that Bulma and Krillin have been captured by the pirates.
I couldn't believe it. Bulma and Krillin were here too. Did all of our friends get pulled into the totally accurate battle simulator world? I thanked my friends and set off to go and save Bulma and Krillin. On days 25 through 30, I traveled to the pirate realm, but it seemed like no one was here. I needed to find Bulma and Krillin, and fast. But suddenly I heard a strange noise come from the ocean behind me. Out of the water crawled these giant clams. I dove in to fight them. It was very lucky that I knew how to swim. Because of our new training, I was able to defeat the clams with ease. And as I left the water, I was suddenly confronted by pirates. And at their front was the leader, Blackbeard. The battle commenced and Blackbeard was a very strong opponent, but luckily he seemed to have jumped right into the water, and everybody knows that Blackbeard can't swim. I got in close and personal and fought the other pirates. These poor souls were no match for my power, and with the final blow, I defeated all the pirates. That large pirate Blackbeard jumped into the sea. I wondered if I would ever see him again. Thank you so much for defeating those evil pirates. I turned around quickly and there stood the most beautiful pirate I had ever seen, as well as Krillin and Bulma. My friends told me that this was the Pirate Queen Kira, and apparently those other pirates were not part of her faction. Kira the Pirate Queen was keeping my friends safe, and now she was ready to let them go. Reunited once more, my friends and I set off to see Mr. Popo. On days 31 through 36, we returned to Mr. Popo's training. Master Roshi was fighting Chaozu, Tien was fighting Yamcha, and Piccolo was fighting Vegeta! Somehow the Prince of Saiyans had found his way to the training ground. Mr. Popo was very pleased with his training. He seemed to be very happy with the results so far. And I returned to Mr. Popo with Krillin and Bulma in tow.
Well done, Goku, well done. Leave Krillin and Bulma with me. Now Vegeta will finish your training.
I did not like the sounds of this. My friendship with Vegeta was best described as rocky. And now that I was a kid, frankly, I was scared of Vegeta. I thanked Mr. Popo and set off to continue my training. On days 37 through 42, I continued my training with Vegeta. And just as I expected, this man was not nice to me. I could barely even train with him. Vegeta was too big, and he was too strong, and he would defeat me again and again and again. No matter how many times I fought him, I would always end up getting defeated. But eventually, a funny thing happened. I remembered that there was a full moon. And because of the full moon, I transformed into my giant gorilla form. The gorilla version of me was much stronger than the child version, and soon Vegeta was on the run. Vegeta was having a very hard time keeping up with me now. The fight was going very poorly, But suddenly Vegeta had an idea. And suddenly out of nowhere, Vegeta also transformed into giant gorilla form. It didn't even have his tail. This transformation made no sense. There had to be something to do with the totally accurate battle simulator moon. This place was far more magical than I realized. Vegeta and I trained over and over and over, and I realized very quickly I was no match for him. Giant monkey Vegeta punched me one more time, and we were both transformed back into our human forms.
Well done, Kakarot, well done. I think your training is complete for now.
Together, Vegeta and I returned to Mr. Popo to complete our training. On days 43 through 50, we returned to Mr. Popo's training ground. I decided to train with Yamcha. I wanted to show him how strong I'd become. Piccolo resumed fighting with Vegeta. They seemed to have a bit of a grudge going on. Krillin was fighting Chaozu, and Chaozu was completely owning him. And Master Roshi was fighting Tien. And trust me, you don't want to face Master Roshi. And as always, Mr. Popo just looked on. Everybody loved Mr. Popo's training, and I mean everybody. And as for Bulma, well, she obviously had no interest in fighting. The training went on and on and on. We needed to be ready for Raditz. We needed to be ready for whatever he threw at us. And finally, our training was complete. And Mr. Popo gave me a great idea. He told me to go to a place called the Good Realm. Once I was there, I was to find a person called King Kai. Apparently, he could help me return to being an adult. I said goodbye to Mr. Popo and my friends and went off to find King Kai. On days 51 through 60, I searched far and wide for a way to get to the Good Realm. But finally, I had found a secret door. As I approached it, the door began to glow. This must be the way to the Good Realm. The door opened for me, and inside was a strange realm. This cave had statues depicting the gods of this world. As I approached, a light occurred, pouring from the ceiling, filling the cracks in the floor, creating a crazy symbol, and from that symbol, a portal appeared. This must be the way to the Good Realm. I summoned my bravery and stepped inside the portal. I was transported to a place in the sky, and there I met the famous King Kai. I told him about the dire situation back in the totally accurate battle simulator realm, and King Kai agreed to train me. He told me that I needed to defeat my gorilla form. Only by beating the beast within would I be ready to grow up into an adult. We fought hard for eternity, but eventually my beast form fell from the planet. I had beaten the beast within me, and I was ready to become an adult. I returned to King Kai and asked him to transform me, and King Kai agreed. Finally, I had become a man, and I was ready to face Raditz. On days 61 through 70, I returned to Mr. Popo's. Yet when I arrived, there was nobody here. The place was completely empty. Where had Mr. Popo gone? At the back of the property, I found Bulma, and she did not look good. She told me that Raditz had captured all of our friends. Raditz. I knew I should have killed him a second time. The only problem now is that we didn't know where Raditz went. Bulma suggested that I search the world of tabs. The realm wasn't that big, and Raditz was bound to be somewhere. I thanked Bulma and set off to search the world to find my friends. On days 71 through 78, I traveled across the realms of the Dynasty realm. I knew that somewhere in this world of pink trees, I might be able to find an answer. Finally, after my long journey, I came to a place that can only be described by one word, and that word is beautiful. But it felt like I wasn't alone. Suddenly, a short ninja appeared in front of me. I had never seen someone like him before. Hi, I'm Naruto. What brings you here? I asked this Naruto person about my friends, but it was soon quite apparent that he had not seen them. All of his travel had been for nothing. Hey, before you go, do you want to spar? I was a little shocked, but I did want to see how strong I'd become. Suddenly, I attacked Naruto, blasted him into the sky with a Kamehameha. I don't think our ninja friend was expecting that, to be honest. The ninja was pretty fast, but I think I was faster. He threw this orb of energy at me, but I quickly dodged it and deflected it. And soon enough, I hit him with another energy blast. I knew he said he wanted to spar, but I don't think he quite expected that. On days 79 through 86, I continued to look for my friends. I had been traveling through the frozen north for some time, and I was getting lost. All the frozen snow and rocks were beginning to look the same. I didn't know what to do. I found myself in a land with frozen ice and snow-covered trees, when suddenly I came face to face with a massive ice giant. This wasn't any ordinary ice giant. He had a massive strong helmet on his head and 2 powerful looking flaming swords in his hands, but I didn't get the impression that he was violent. I was just about to ask him if he had seen my friends when suddenly we were surrounded by bandits with strange dogs. These were Reavers, and their dogs looked at us like snacks. The Reavers jumped at us out of nowhere. My ice giant friend was being surrounded and completely controlled, but I had newfound power and destroyed the Reavers as fast as I humanly could. The Reavers tried to go for the ankles of the ice giants, but I got in their way. I didn't really like hurting the dogs, but I had to save my new friend. Together, the ice giant and I defeated the Reavers and were finally safe. The ice giant said his name was Hugo, and he told me about a man called the Wise Old Wizard who might be able to help me. I thanked my new friend and continued off to find the Wise Old Wizard. On days 87 through 94, I appeared in the tribal realm. I was on my way to the base of the mountain to meet the Wise Old Wizard, but standing in my way was a strange-looking man covered in black armor.
My name is the Evil Vulcan, and I am here to...
I didn't feel like listening to this strange person, so I used my energy blast and sent him flying into the sky. I didn't really catch his name, but he couldn't have been that powerful. I reached the top of the mountain and found myself face to face with the Wise Old Wizard, and it seemed to me like he was expecting me. He tried to explain something about portals to me, how I came from a different realm, blah blah blah, but I didn't really care. All I wanted to do was fight Raditz.
Fine, don't listen to me. Go fight your Raditz. Follow these instructions, and you'll find them in an arena.
I was so excited to fight Raditz that I left immediately on my adventure. On days 95 through 99, I traveled through many strange realms. I was off to find Raditz, and no one could stop me. Along the way, I saw some strange and wonderful things, and I got lost more than a few times. I managed to get closer and closer to my destination, though some of the things I saw were very, very strange. This world of totally accurate battle simulator didn't make a whole lot of sense, and I couldn't wait to get home. On day 100, I arrived in the arena, and sure enough, over in the distance, I saw Raditz. Where are my friends, Raditz?
Oh, don't worry. You'll be seeing them soon enough.
The fight began, and I couldn't wait to fight this man one-on-one. He was behind all of our pain and suffering, and I was ready to defeat him. I used my energy blast to send him flying into the sky, and in the end, he was no match for me, and Raditz was completely defeated. I'd done it! I defeated Raditz! I saved everybody!